Hey everybody, Chad here. We are going to put some drift roses, tree form drift roses into the ground today. These are peach drift, very similar to the one right through here behind the ferry. And that one's been eaten by deer twice now, as of all these trees. So they're looking pretty sad. These two drift roses have also been eaten by deer a couple times, grazed them. You can see this one's finishing up flowering, but it's also been eaten. This one here, one flower, which is very pretty, but it's also been eaten by deer. But the good news is they will come back. I just have to keep spraying them. These were sprayed before with deer repellent, but said the deer right now, the babies especially and stuff, they're just out here and just destroying stuff in the neighborhood. So ironically, they have not gotten this one branch right here. So that one made it, well, at least partially made it. It's got a little bit of flowers. And last thing I want to show you before we get these in the ground, we're just starting one of my favorite things. These crepe myrtles are just starting to flower. They're going to be full of blooms in just a few more days. That's our pink one here. When it rains, this one kind of droops down, but it's very, very pretty. And then last but not least, look at this purple crepe myrtles, and these are some of my favorites. So lots of blooms and still a lot more blooms to show up. These only last for a few weeks, so enjoy them while you can until the first heavy rain either breaks some of the branches on that pink one or snaps off some stuff or makes all the flowers fall off. So either way, enjoy it while it's here, definitely. But evening primroses you saw in the last video, those have been eaten by deer. They're just sticks now. As you can see the damage they did to these rose trees, just yank stuff out. And yesterday the sun credibles in the back. I was walking out there at night and a rabbit ran out from that area. It had taken off, and I thought the sun credibles were big enough to handle a rabbit. It had tore off all the branches, big branches, and just ripped them off, chewed them, and was about to have a snack. But I chased it off in the woods, so hopefully it didn't get to finish its snack, even though it may have destroyed my sun credible. So out of the 4 or 5 that were on that section, one is now down for the count. So stinking deer, and rabbits, Gus, you need to go chase and get a rabbit, eat it for lunch, And Gus says, that's too much work. You feed me. Why do I need to do anything to a rabbit? All right, well, let's get these in the ground. And that'll be one less thing to be over in front of the garage. All right, we got them in the ground, got some fertilizer in there with them. We're gonna water them in really good. You'll notice they might be, that one's okay, but this one's a little bit crooked. That's okay, I'm gonna put a permanent stake down in here, and then I can kind of tilt it either way with that, with a zip tie or something on the stake, or tie it up. So we'll get that straight, literally. And now I'm gonna run some drip tubing from the main hose right over here, straight to each one of those. And so that way they're going to be on the same watering system as everything else here in the front flower bed area. So we'll get that done, and I think we'll be good to go. I'll probably wait a few days to get the stakes in, and I'm gonna probably put some pots, maybe even some statues around these so the dogs don't run into them or wrestle around or anything like that and knock them over, because they are pretty fragile with these long stems right here. So the dogs, especially Gus here, bull in a china shop, and he can cause some destruction when he gets to wrestling with Molly. So we're gonna hopefully put some stuff around him. That's why I got all this stuff, so when they're running, he's not gonna run into those, he'll go around them. So I'm hoping to detour Gus from knocking these over as they get established, and even after they get established. So you hear that, Gus? Talking about you. Yep, that's right. So let's get the water ran to them and then water them in, and we'll be good. Very briefly, what we're gonna do here with the drip hosing. I have this to poke a hole into the main line, as you've seen in previous videos. We have one of these little plastic couplers that's going to go in the main line and then onto one end of this 1/4 inch hosing. We're going to run that in between the two plants over here, and then on the other end, I didn't have a 3-one, I had a 4-way, so I'm going to put a tube here, a tube there, and put a bubbler on the end of the tubes I run from here and here, one in each one. So this one thing is actually feeding 2 plants right here. You don't want to go too many plants with just one of these hoses, or the pressure won't be enough, but if you're just doing 2 or 3, that should be fine. And then this other end that's going to be an extra, I'm just going to put a little piece of tubing on there and then plug it with a stopper so that it doesn't go anywhere. So it'll just be using these 2. And that's what we're going to do for the water. Now we put some little landscape pins in, just kind of put it on the ground, getting it permanent and in place, and we're good to go. We'll get them watered in. I might actually just water them in like this. So if you like this video, click the like button, hit subscribe if you haven't done so already, and share it with your friends in case anyone else is planting some rose trees. As I said, we'll come back in and stake these with something a little more permanent to this bamboo, and just kind of pull it up a little bit like that, and then we're good to go. So hope to see y'all soon, and have a great day. Bye-bye. Wait a second, don't go anywhere. Strange problem. I hooked up to the main hose, turned everything on. Right here it's sprinkling like it's supposed to, watering it. Here, no water. The question is, did I put it too close to the actual faucet and maybe the water's just kind of going past that area? I don't know. But these are not getting any water whatsoever. I took this off and there's still no water coming out, so I don't know if the tube is clogged up. I'm gonna have to test it out over there and hook up. I've got a new hose like this. I'm gonna hook it up to the same spot and see if water comes out the end of it. If so, maybe this hose somewhere has got a block in it. Maybe some ants or something got in there, or a little bit of dirt or something, some debris. Not really sure. Just got to test it out and see. If not, I could just move this whole thing over a few feet where I know this one's hooked up right next to it, and hopefully that'll solve the problem. But no water's coming in this thing, so that's very, very strange. A mystery, so to speak. Mystery solved. After cutting the hose in several places, water kept coming out till the very end down here where it was hooked to the 2 going by. I earlier told you I was going to use a 4-piece. So what I did was I hooked the water hose up to this end, and this end, and this end, and this end. I just put a, I actually had it like this. So I had the hose over here hooked into that piece right there on the right, and I had a stopper on the left, the pointy part. Well, this is a 3-piece. This part right here that I had hooked to the main 1/4-inch hose there, it is a stopper. So you hook it up now to the right pointy end, hook the other two up to the top and bottom. This end is a stopper automatically. So I had that hooked into the water hose like this, so no water was getting anywhere. I was wondering, that was very suspicious. I didn't think anything could have clogged up the whole thing. So you can see it going down there. We're just gonna plug now this in right there, and then the 2 sides, and then this end here will stop the water on its own without anything else. And don't ever plug that side. I looked through it just now. I was like, oh, you can't see through that, but you can see through this side and all that. So that's what I did. I just hooked this end up, this end right here up to the hose, and no water can go through there. You have to hook it up that way. Mystery solved. Let's get back to work. Probably when you do this next part, you should turn the water off. I don't want to go back over there. Just gonna plug it in like so. Here we go. Now we got water. Voila. It'll drip a little more once this comes on too. There we go. Oh yeah, look at that. A beautiful thing, in the words of the crocodile hunter. Isn't that a beaut? Beautiful, beautiful. Look at it. And now everything's being watered. That's the way it should work. Problem solved. Let's stick these back in there. How exciting.